Sometimes dead is better. Pet Sematary Bloodlines is a Paramount Plus original written and directed by Lindsay Anderson Baer. Check out her IMDb page for the full list of her work. And also written by Jeff Bueller, who did films such as, and I managed to write these down, The Prodigy, Pet Sematary 2019, The Grudge 2020, and Studio 666. There's one good movie out of all those. One good movie, and good with a qualifier, because I had the Foo Fighters, because there goes my hero, watch him as he goes. That's alright, it is an origin story for, wait for it, sit down, you're not going to believe this, Pet Sematary, the story by Stephen King that had the guy that played Herman Munster. He got his ankle cut by a very, very weird kid that was playing in the road, and then he got hit. Little shit had it coming. Then they did Pet Sematary 2, Electric How the Fuck Did We Do One of These, Boogaloo. And then we got the 2019 Pet Sematary. Basically, this is how things came to be with the cursed ground that brings back pets and humans and anybody. But sometimes dead is better because evil lurks there, and evil will infest and nest and cause massive death in Ludlow, Maine. Stephen King just loves setting shit in Maine, doesn't he? So, yeah. You pretty much get an origin story of something that you could basically figure out on your own. You could kind of put one and one together and come up with how things came to be. And when it comes to horror prequels, let's be perfectly goddamn honest, they're hit and miss. I mean, Annabelle Creation is one of the only ones that leaps out as far as being one of the good ones in recent memory. But that's okay. Pet Sematary Bloodlines, going right to streaming. It's a good sign. You can watch it at home. And then you can pause it. And you can get up and make a snack. You could put a 200-piece puzzle together while it's playing and not miss shit. Because 1 and 1 usually makes 2. In the case of this, 1 and 1 makes 0. Somehow actually might even make a negative number. This movie is inconceivably bad, painfully unnecessary, and just goddamn abysmal all around. I mean, even with the talent in the cast, even with people trying, and I'm sure the director did her best. I'm sure she did her best, but god damn it. I mean, when you have somebody that wrote the movies that I mentioned, you are fighting an uphill battle that you can't goddamn win. It's set in 1969. Nice. And yeah, we find out what happened in Ludlow, Maine. We find out that the Grandals, they have a, family history going back and back and back and back and back, and it's gone to when the first settlers came to Ludlow, Maine. And then there was the Cursed Land and all that. There's not much to spoil in this. This movie's barely even a concept because I thought it might have just been my connection, but I've read other reviews where they said it was so dark you couldn't see what the fuck was going on. I turned the brightness up on my television, I turned the brightness up on my phone, on my computer, and it was still so goddamn dark, which, great. Granted, you probably didn't want to see any of the goddamn dark scenes or any of the scenes. In fact, this thing could have taken place in a black void and would have been a whole lot goddamn better. I hope that Lindsay Anderson Baer gets a chance to do bigger and better projects because this was offensively awful. I mean, this was a... God, I can't even come up with the actual words I want to say because I don't want to get banned and I don't want to sound like I'm dumping on the filmmakers or dumping on the cast, but the writing was just terrible. Fucking goddamn terrible. And this has to be Jeff Bueller's fault. This has to be. Maybe, I don't know, his favorite pets were held hostage and he was forced to write the most stilted dialogue possible. Maybe they replaced him with an AI program. I don't goddamn know, but when you have a horror origin story, you need to at least make it halfway interesting, even if we know the destination, because even if the destination's unknown, Ruby, 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 Soho. I don't know how that fits, but this film is certainly rancid. Ha-ha. So you have Jackson White, who plays Judd. He's the son of Henry Thomas, and they're the Crandalls. Judd's going to get out, join the Peace Corps, and also his friend Timmy came back from Vietnam. His dad's David Duchovny. And let's just say David Duchovny ain't handling it all that well because his son has changed. Wonder why his son has changed. There is Norma, Natalie Ellen Lind, who apparently is a singer as well as an actress. I'm not that familiar with her. There's Manny. Forrest Goodluck, who is in How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Watch How to Blow Up a Pipeline instead of this. Please watch that. It's a good, solid effort from Neon Studios. So yeah, people start dying because the land is cursed, and more people get cursed, and it's complete bullshit. You don't care about any of the characters. None of them. None of them mean anything. Within the first 20 minutes, we get a violent act that keeps our characters in this particular town, I guess is what it qualifies as. Even though the population was listed as 956 people, I guess that qualifies as a town. And yeah, sometimes dead is better. This franchise should have stayed dead and buried. They shouldn't have even done the 2019 version because that was abysmal. That was absolutely horrible. And this is worse than Pet Sematary 2. That is fucking saying something right there. So yeah, it's on Paramount Plus if you want to check it out. I'm just going to get into spoilers because really there's not all that much to spoil, but I just can't. I can't go through much of the plot because there isn't much of a plot, and I have to talk about certain things that happened with characters that were really goddamn just dumb. Really, really dumb. Pam Grier was in this. They wasted Pam Grier. I will never understand why. Samantha Mathis, who has been good in other stuff, was wasted in this. Isabelle LeBlanc was actually fine as Donna. She tried. I've seen her in other stuff before. But yeah, it's on Paramount Plus if you want to watch it. Getting into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay. So, Timmy was buried in the pet cemetery and now is a vicious killer, and his dog is found, and it's very obvious that Timmy is actually the killer. Very obvious. They don't even try to hide the goddamn thing, even though they try for a couple twists and turns. Judd's girlfriend Norma gets bitten by Timmy's dog. David Duchovny's fully aware of all this and just lets this shit happen. And then suddenly changes his tune and realizes, shit, we need to stop my son that I shouldn't have buried in the pet cemetery, but he came back from Vietnam dead, and I need to bring him back. I need to have a moment with my son in this cursed land that we all fucking know about. Jeez, what is Pam Grier doing in this? At one point, she gets attacked by the goddamn dog, but she's fine. Her face is scratched up, but she's fine. Kill them all before they kill you is what Timmy keeps hearing. There's a point where Manny gets something stabbed through his hand in the sunflower field. Sunflower fields forever. And then Norma's in the hospital. Donna ends up getting violently killed, and then she's possessed. By the way, the dark scenes, I cannot state enough just how bad the nighttime scenes are. It is like they gave them no fucking budget to actually film this, and they just had to color correct it, and the studio over color corrected it because they were so ashamed of what they decided to perpetrate on, horror fans. Because this was terrible. I'm like looking and go, the fuck is goddamn going on? Anyway, more bullshit. The dog ends up dead because Timmy ends up eating it because they're eating him, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my God. I don't even have the effort to put that through. Pam Grier says, we're going to get the dog, or the dog attacked me, we're going to get Timmy. Timmy. And then Manny and Timmy and Judd were all friends before, by the way. That is something driven home by a photograph, picture of. Passion killer, and I don't know the rest of the words, so I'll just trust. You gotta aim for the eyes, according to the flashbacks. We get flashbacks with settlers, and this had all the earmarks of something that Time Chasers did. Time Chasers did the flashback stuff better as far as the period clothing and everything, if you can believe that. It was like they rushed this whole production, like nobody that had any talent was given a chance to do anything good. There was an explanation that the land is cursed, and then it turned out that somebody was cursed by the land. So they started eating them. You got to aim for the eyes, according to this one Indian mystic guide. And then David Duchovny says, hey, wait a second. I realized it was a mistake to bring back my son. We're going to go set the building on fire. Because Norma gets attacked by Donna and seemingly dragged away because Donna's doing Timmy's bidding. None of this stuff just happens. Barely any of this is explained. And then everybody gathers, the elders and people gather there. More people die. Pam Grier dies. David Duchovny ends up getting killed. Norma is trapped in a tunnel where it is flooding and she is going to die. But then it's Manny, Timmy, and Judd left. And Manny basically is told by Judd, hey, I'm going to stay behind. You're going to find a way to get out of here because you're going to achieve your dream, even though your sister's dead. Sister ends up dying. We get a few jump scares with the semi rolling by with all the subtlety of a brick to the skull. And then we get a slash of the Achilles heel straight out of the 1989 playbook, except they did better in 1989. Even with not showing certain things, they made it better. That little shit also had it coming. Did I say that? Whoever at Paramount greenlit this deserved to be in front of that semi as far as I'm goddamn concerned. But it was so dark, Manny ends up shooting a flare at Timmy, I think. So he dies. Norma and Judd are fine. They're going to stay behind. And Manny leaves. And that's it. That's it. That's literally it. That was 80 goddamn minutes of barely a movie. Barely a concept. What the fuck was this? What the fuck? F. In case you can't figure that out, Pet Sematary Bloodlines gets a fucking F. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.